Okay, we'll do a quick video back on the Magnavox. I'm going to try and keep it brief this time, but I'm going to go through a few steps as I'm able. We're over here in this section now, the sync separator, the 6EB8. The 6BF6 is on order, but in any event, back to the 6EB8 sync separator. The one with the video on it that's supposed to strip it and send it along. There seems to be a lot of video noise. So we're looking around the sync separator here, 6EB8, which I also ordered online today. However, I'm going to go over a few things back to the chassis here. Discussing this back and forth all day and thinking about it, yeah, there are no grounds on these boards. And when we used to repair sets, we used to always solder the grounds around the chassis. In fact, a lot of these would have been soldered directly to the chassis, and they always crack. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go around and tighten all these grounds around these boards. And over here, where the vertical hold connects, there's this pasty, waxy goo here. And just in case it's conductive around the vertical hold control, or that's where the wire is, I'm going to clean that out of there. Let me get a sample of that to show you. This is waxy goop on the board there. I'm going to just try and scrape some of that away. I'm going to tighten down the 4 grounds on there. And the other thing I wanted to mention, I have just the rack of controls mounted here. This is the vertical hold, and that green wire goes down to where that gunk is down there. But according to the schematic, none of these are all grounded here, and now I have it mounted to the chassis, so it should be grounded. However, in the set, the shield of the contrast cable is the only ground, and that goes down under this IF section here. And actually, the chassis was like resting on these wires, just resting on the wire that is the ground. But anyway, I'm going to clean that, tighten that, and then we're going to take some voltage measurements. And I just so happened, I have the 6EB8 here, and it is a triode and a pentode. A triode and a pentode in the same envelope. And we're concerned with pins 1, 2, and 3 here. And this is your video output over here. And it's nicely labeled on the board. They tell you 2-plate, 2K for cathode. So pins 1, 2, and 3 here are what we're going to be concerned with. The solder looks okay around there, but then again, 2K goes right to ground right here. So I'm going to tighten all these up. And we have capacitors on order, but we'll hold off on the capacitors for right now. We do a little more troubleshooting. So I'm going to take the voltages around this 6EB8. And just so happened, it took a while, but I went through some of I had a box, I have boxes of tubes, and I have a box that was labeled Bendix TV. It said Bendix TV. Because when I was working at one point, we had before I was into the televisions, I would still grab, I couldn't save them, but I would grab what parts I could. And in the box that said Bendix TV, there just happens to be one, it's a Zenith 6EB8 here that I can try. So I do have one, which is a total surprise to me. And this was April 24th, 2004, when as the newspaper I wrapped this in. So that was 10 years ago. But I have the tube. We're going to try that. We're going to take some voltage measurements and we're going to try a tube. We're going to clean up and do the grounds. And down there, that's our C43.002, the solar disc capacitor there. And there's the tube we're going to do the voltage on and change. Okay, we're going to turn the set on and let it warm up. Got a voltmeter ready, DC volts. Moving things around. I just make sure everything's good. Okay. And you have the picture over there. It's rolling in the horizontal, but that's fine. I'm going to get the horizontal in. It actually is locking in pretty. It's actually locking in. See that? clunk, clunk. I can lock it in. Oh! I spoke too soon. Don't touch. Let's go around front a second. Okay, let's try to lock this in again. No, it seemed to be locking in better initially. Okay, back to our crappy vertical. Okay, back to the voltage. Okay, they're calling 2 the triode. So we're going 1, 2, 3. Pin 1, cathode, that's ground, that should be 0, that is 0. Pin 2, I have 11 minus 11, 5. Pin 2, minus 11. Pin 2, that's the grid of the triode. Sam says pin 2 should be minus 1. I can't tell if that's minus 1 or minus 7 on the Sams. It's too blurry for me. Minus 11. So maybe it's supposed to be minus 7. So I have minus 12 there. Pin 3, which is the plate of the triode. 109 on the plate of the triode. Plate of the triode is supposed to be 60. Let's go on to pin, that's the heater, 4 and 5. Pin 6 is supposed to be 0.2. 0.5. Pin 7. Pin 7 is supposed to be 0.1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pin 7. Supposed to be 0.1. 54. Maybe we're on the wrong one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pin 7. Minus 1.5. It's supposed to be 0.1. Okay, on to pin 8, which is supposed to be 50. It's 55. Pin 9, which is the plate, 190. I have 256. The picture is still rolling. So once again, take it from the top. Pin 1, the cathode, is ground. Pin 2, minus 11. Pin 3, the plate, 109. Pin 4, pin 5, pin 6, 0.6, pin 7, minus 1.3, pin 8, 54, pin 9, 255. It's supposed to be 190. 190, 50, 0.1 and 0.2. 150, 50, 0.1. This is minus 0.2. Heater. Plate, 107 of the triode. It's supposed to be 60. So, okay, now that we have that, I'm going to try another tube in it, okay? And the vertical is rolling up now. I can't lock that vertical in. Okay, I'll turn the set back on. Now with the Zenith tube in. This is an original Magnavox tube in there, dated 30th week of 1961. So this is the original video out and sync separator. See how it comes on. The horizontal is a little. The horizontal will lock, and the picture's rolling a little bit. Let's go around front and take a look. Well, now let me just see if I can lock it in. It locks in. It locks in, but then it begins rolling again. Let me turn this vertical hold here. See, that's not me touching anything. It's better, but see if I can hold it locked in there. No, see? I'm not convinced. Let's take the readings with this tube in there. It seems better. I'm doing that. It seems better. Okay, quickly. The triode. Plate. New tube installed. 117. Pin 2. Should be -1. Hold on, we got it wrong here. Start over. Cathode is ground. Pin 2. -5. Should be -1 or 7. Wait a minute, this is reading different. Pin 3, the plate, 117. It's supposed to be 60. And I see the picture's rolling again. Oh, and I take the probe off. It stops. No, it's rolling and stopping, rolling and stopping. Heater. This should be pin 6. 0.8. It's supposed to be 0.2. It's -0. Pin 7. No, this is wrong. This has to be pin 8 is 67. It was 50 something before, 67. Pin 7 is 0.7 minus. It's supposed to be 0.1. 6, it says 0.2. It's 0.3. 67 on pin 8 again. Plate 265. That's supposed to be 190. Okay, so that's with the new tube installed. Let's see what I see. It's rolling, I can see from here. I'll try to... It locks in though. No. See, the lock is still terrible. Better, but not the best. See, better, but not the best. It locks in. And then it'll... Nope, it's still not as good as it should be. But that's it for now. We'll call this, digest this info.